Okie doke. So I am super excited because I have a very special guest for you guys today. Her name is Chanel Stewart. And if you don't know who she is, after you meet her, you'll probably end up wanting to follow her. She is an amazing reinvention strategist. And she wrote her book with me. Oh gosh, when was that? I want to say that was in 19 or 19, no, not 19, 20. That would be a really long time ago. 2017. I want to say it was early 2017 that she wrote her book with me. And she is Jamaican. She lives in Italy, but a lot of times she goes back and forth between Italy and the UK. She's kind of one of those global citizens. She loves being everywhere. And she is going to hop on today and talk to you a little bit about getting yourself set up. Oh, there she is. And about how it was when she was writing the book, because it's been a while for me, quite honestly, guys. It's been a while for me. And I haven't been in your shoes in a little while. And I wanted Chanel to come on and tell you guys a little bit about how it was for her, and then give you some tips and strategies and secret behind the scenes stuff. You are going to love her because I love her. And, that's just pretty much all there is to the introduction. Hey, Chanel.
Hi everyone.
You missed it, but thank you for being with us. I know it's late in your area of the world. But almost everybody's here. So yay. Take it away.
Hi everybody. So I'm Chanel and I'm so happy to see all you guys. So I was talking to Vickie. Vickie's a very, very good friend of mine. I've worked with her in Easy Writer. She's worked with me in my programs, and we've just had like a beautiful symbiotic relationship. And she and I were talking about you guys. And I know you guys were some of you were feeling a little bit overwhelmed, or, going through this process and setting everything up. And I just wanted to come on here and share some wisdom with you guys. And as I was preparing for this call, I was really tuning into, okay, what is it that these incredible powerhouse catalysts, need to hear? And I just kept getting that it's about trusting yourselves, and like, to share a little bit about when I was working with Vickie and Easy Writer, one of the things that came up for me was feeling like I was not ready to do it. It wasn't conscious. It's never something conscious. Like, you want to write a book. You want to be successful. You want to speak on stage. It's within you. It's in your heart. It's pouring out of your soul for years. Come on, let's be honest. It's something that you've always known, right? Exactly. And the thing is, because we're in an industry, especially with social media, we can see the Tony Robbins, we can see the Oprahs, and then we can kind of start to size ourselves up and feel like, who am I to do this? Who am I to charge that much? Who am I to sell for this stuff? Who am I to write this book now? Am I ready now? Like my company right now, we make multiple six figures, and this coming year we're scaling into 7 and multiple 7. And today in my morning journaling, I was like, am I really ready for this? And it's not conscious a lot of the times. It's a lot of the times subconscious, right? And one of the things that I remember Vickie saying, oh my God, you should totally be an easy writer. And I'm like, oh my God, really now? Well, I'm not Tony Robbins. Can I really do that now? And by allowing myself to trust myself and trust the wisdom that I was given at birth, and to trust my experiences, and knowing that it has prepared me for the desires of my heart, and trusting that even if I failed and I wrote this book and it was a flop, I expanded myself, and that message was going to touch who it needed to touch. And that whoever was ready to hear the word in the book and the message in the book, and hear the message on stage and see, coach with me at the highest level possible, I had to trust that I was on the right path, and I had to trust that what was coming out of me was bigger than me. And when you allow yourself to acknowledge the fear, guys, and acknowledge that there's this fear of not being ready, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of, oh my God, but if I do this, people will expect other things from me. I'll have to have responsibility, right? That's one of the big things. Oh my God, then I'm going to have to be responsible for all these people. When you allow yourself to acknowledge that, it no longer has power over you. So what I would say to each of you right now, I would say, like, if you had your actual goal, your secret goal, the one that you told Vickie, the one that you secretly want, that you are, like, you still haven't admitted yet, you know, like the one that's like double whatever it is you actually said. If you actually had that secret goal be a reality, I want you to all think about that right now. Like, what is the fear that comes up? What is the hesitation? You can type it in the chat, actually, because we can actually go through and, like, you know, like, answer some of them. So if you knew that, in fact, you would close your eyes and you would open your eyes and, oh my God, you had your goal, who would be upset? Who would be angry? Who would be jealous? Who would you be afraid that their opinions would sabotage you? Who wouldn't you want to know? Who would you want to keep it a secret from? And you can feel free to type it in the chat, because then I can, you know, help you individually. So mine is overwhelmed, keeping up with everything. Vickie Mangum. Okay, so overwhelmed, keeping up with everything. So is it that, okay, if you achieved your goal, right, then you'd feel overwhelmed and you wouldn't be able to keep up with everything. And then what would happen, Vickie? What would happen next? So, oh my God, I hit my goal. Oh my God, now I'm overwhelmed. Ah, I'm freaking out. How can I keep up with everything?
Do you want to unmute, Vickie?
Oh yeah, you could do that as well. Oh yes.
You want to elaborate?
Oh, that's better. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's not the overwhelm with being successful. I'm ready for that. It's trying to juggle everything. Since joining Driven Business School, my business has tripled. So I'm working more and I've got more going on. And then I'm trying to keep up with all of my assignments there. And then I felt the urge to join Vickie, because it's been my dream to always write a bestseller book and speak on stage and turn it into course material. And it's called overwhelm.
So basically what she's saying is that because we met in a different program, she's juggling 2 programs that she wants to keep up with everything.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know what it is to be in multiple programs. So what I would say is, where are you making yourself feel guilty and wrong? Right? Like, tell me all the places where you're like, oh, I should have done that.
When the Driven team says, hey, Vickie, are you going to recommit to your commitment to Driven? In a text this morning, like, no, I'm not going to recommit. I've never uncommitted. I'm just trying to keep up. It's not.
What would happen if you took off any guilt or shame, or like?
No, it's not that.
Any feeling bad for being behind?
No, it's just that I want to keep up, because when I get behind, it's hard to catch up, and then I've got to put more time and effort into, and it's like, oh.
Okay, so you said that your
My
business
brain wants to shut down when I get overwhelmed. That's the problem.
Okay.
I want to do it all, and I know I can, but oh my God.
So, question: since your business tripled, okay, tell me some of the tasks that you're doing, because this is more like, for you, it's gonna be for everybody. Actually, it's gonna be like an internal solution and an external solution. So, if you want to look at like the external solution first, so when you feel this overwhelm, think about like all the things you're doing right now that you don't want to do in your actual business. Start listing them out. Tell me some of them.
Say that again.
What are all the things that you're currently doing in your business that you do not want to do? Like, do not want to do it.
There isn't anything. I like everything I'm doing. I just get behind because, like, I'm a month behind with writing my book. And then I'm behind with, like, Driven has this speaking lab thing that I think I got to watch maybe 2 videos out of 6. And I haven't turned any homework in the group. So I'm just like,
Okay, but
not
okay,
getting
so
it
let's look
done.
at then. If you like doing everything, but what are the things that you don't have to be doing actually? Because we can like many things. Like, for example, I love sending emails to my list, but I don't have to schedule them. So there are many, I'm sure right now, like if you list it out, like what you're doing in a day, 90% of those things are not in your zone of genius. The things that are like, oh my God, this is what I am called to do. So sometimes because we're good at something, we do it, but it doesn't mean you have to, like, I know how to do my laundry. I'm great at washing dishes. It's the easiest thing for me to sweep my house and mop the house. But really, if I spend all the time doing that, then I don't have the time left to like show up in the areas where I'm called to serve in. You know, like
Yeah.
you know, so like where are you having those leaks?
I don't know, because I'm living with a friend right now, and she has a cleaning lady comes in twice a month. I do my laundry once every 2 weeks. I basically 100% of focusing on my work, my business. You know, I do mobile body work, so I go to people's homes. I went out to a networking event the other night and got 2 more clients. And that was fun. I went with a friend and she promoted me. But 100%, well, 99% of everything I do is for my business. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have the typical
So what are
stuff
some of the
going on.
90%? What are some of those?
Well, I'm watching videos. I'm catching up on replays, and I'm doing some writing, and I'm doing some, well, I'm getting a website built, so I'm doing my homework for that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta.
No, outside of the learning, like what are you doing in the actual business? So you said that you go and you drive to all these people's houses and you do the work with them, right?
Yeah, I do their body work.
What would happen if you let them come to you?
They can't. One of them
Okay.
would have to find a babysitter. That would throw her off. The other one, I have to lift with a
What if
Hoyer
you
lift.
allow her to find a babysitter though?
Well, she's the only one. Well, the other one, she can't walk yet. She's still learning how to walk. I have to pick her up with the Hoyer lift and put her in her bed.
Okay, that one, sure. But what about the one who has to find a babysitter? What if you let her get a babysitter?
She's too spoiled. I've been with her since April. Well, here's the thing too, is I've got a studio. I'm not trying to be hard here. Oh, now I'm getting
Because you're in the hot
dealing
seat.
with a lot of emotional crap right now too. That doesn't help.
Before Chanel continues, I want to tell you all that if you guys are actually writing your book right now, stop. We're not in book writing mode. Like whatever, Vickie, if you're trying to find time and setting time aside to write your book, we're not in that module yet. That's next month. So you're trying to go ahead, and that's going to cause overwhelm, because if you're not focusing on what is happening in month 1 to get the clarity around what you're writing, because once you get clarity around what you're writing and you do the prep part for the book will literally fall out of your head. Won't it, Chanel? So this idea of I should be writing my book right now, you are jumping ahead and creating your own overwhelm, because you're not like actually doing the thing that we're doing in month 1.
Yeah, I think she got kicked off.
Oh no, yeah, I saw that she got frozen, so maybe something happened with her connection. We can move on to Rhonda if you want. She put her stuff in the chat, and then we'll go back to Vickie, and then Tamay has something too.
Absolutely. And what I would say, guys, is one of the things is, if you like, I mean, she'll catch this in the replay, and hopefully she jumps back on and we can go through it with her deeper. But one of the things, guys, is if you feel that you're being overwhelmed, we have to realize that our lives are choices. So if you feel overwhelmed, there are places where you're saying yes, where you need to be like, no. Mm-hmm. You know, like I was saying this to one of my clients today, because Mondays is one of my coaching days, and I was saying, like, when we're babies, you know, if you're a baby and you try to give them like something to eat and they're like, no, and you're like, come on, eat the thing, and they're like, no. Babies have no hesitancy around saying no, and they know they're not hurting your feelings. They just don't want what you're offering them. And so in your life, there are places where you're saying yes, to, for example, overwhelm or like clients that take up more energy than needed. And it's okay for you to say no and set healthy boundaries there. So that's like a general thing. Don't be afraid to like say no. Cool? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do Rhonda next. Rhonda says, I'm doing my best to multitask, showing up for my business clients, taking care of my family duties, housework duties, saving a little time for me, self-care, and keeping this program a priority. When it is time to dive in and start writing my book, I fear I will lack clarity about what to write, or two, will know what to write and struggle with writer's block. So this is actually one of the things where you gotta trust the process. Like, remember, Vickie's worked with, oh my God, how many is it, Vickie? Over 100 by now, like authors?
It's 99.
99. Just need to get, exactly right, Rhonda, we need to get her that one more.
Yeah.
You can unmute yourself as well, Rhonda. But like, if you think about it, right, she has experience working with so many authors, people who are like me. When I was already making six figures, from people who are beginners to people who make double what I make, to people like Lisa Nichols and, you know, the Les Browns of the world. So she knows what she's doing. So what you got to do is trust the process, because when she's helping you to set up your business right now, you'll find that the modules that you create or the topics that you create in your programs, those are the things that are going to help to outline your book. So this is one of the things where you just got to trust the process. I know you're excited and you're like, oh my God, but what if I don't know what to write? But girl, you and I both know that like you could talk for hours and hours about the topic. You know, so there'll be no writers, but worst case scenario, we like get you a recording device and you like record yourself talking and then transcribe it. There will be no writer's block, okay? But you're in good hands, and I would say just follow the process that Vickie's taking you through, because it's gonna help you to have that clarity, and that same clarity will help you to create like your talks for your speaking events and like your book and your courses and all the things that you're gonna be creating moving forward. So just trust the process. And remember to trust yourself, because you know you've got a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to the topic that your book is going to be about.
Yeah.
Your friends, they've gotten like 5 chapters from you already, just from general casual conversations. Do you have any follow-up questions on that?
So you said you were already working your business and then you decided to write the book?
Yeah, so I had my business fully set up. I was in my 3rd year of my business when I worked with Vickie. But the good thing about what she's doing with you guys is that what I did in those first 3 years, she's like fast tracking you guys.
Oh.
And helping you to set that up. So you'll understand, you'll have the clarity. Exactly. So when I started, for example, I was like trying to figure out, okay, what is my niche? What kind of coach am I going to be? What do I want to talk about? You know, and I didn't have that clarity. And I didn't know like, okay, what packages am I selling? It took me time to figure that out. And that's why I'm saying like, when you're with Vickie, she'll help you to get some of that clarity so that you won't be lost on the book, you know? And Vickie, you can speak to this as well if you.
Yeah.
I totally lost internet.
What I'm getting from everybody through this is that you guys are thinking about stuff that hasn't happened yet. And so you're worrying about the future that hasn't come yet. And you're trying to overcome issues that haven't come up yet. And you're trying to pre-look at, well, what's coming down the road, and what if I can't, or what if this happens, or what if this issue comes up?
Your friend always innovating.
Stay in the moment. Stay in this month of foundations, because the reason why we don't jump right away into let's just write this book, because there are a lot of different people here. Some of you guys are rising stars. Some of you are in the lifestyle changer stage. And there actually is nobody who is the empire builder, who would be a little bit further along. So you're all in good company. You're all fairly in the same stage of business. And you have to really get that foundation and get aligned your business with the book, so that the book will actually do the work that it's supposed to do. If you don't get clear in month 1 about your message, your target audience, and you write to the wrong people, and you write about the wrong topic, you're gonna come back to me after you're done with the book in 2020, and you're gonna say, you know what, Vickie, I need to write a different book because I thought I wanted to do this, and now I wanna do that.
Yeah.
You can't do
one of the analogy that comes to me to like piggyback on what Vickie's saying is like, it's kind of like you're in middle school and you're like freaking about like your college exams. You're like, oh my God, I gotta fail this college exam. It's like,
no, we did that as Asians, so we studied for those college exams from 7th grade.
Wow.
But yeah, that's true.
It's kind of like that. So you just gotta trust the process. Like she's like it, like if I went when I was an easy writer, it was such a pleasure being in the process. It was like step by step. You knew, like if you just followed it through, she took you from like day one to when your book is launched to when like the back end of the book and everything. So you have to just trust the process and know that like she's worked with 100+ people, like 100 people. Yes, that's 99 as clients, but like she's helped more than that. So
I'm gonna find you that one more, Vickie.
Well, there actually should have been a couple people, but they moved their dates back, so it would have been already. But regardless of that, there is a reason why you do not have access to month 2 through 4 right now.
Yeah.
There is a reason.
It's not like she doesn't have it ready for you, but you gotta, it's like before you build a home, you gotta do the blueprint and lay the foundation, or else you're gonna put up these stakes or these blocks or these, what do you call it, wooden panels, and there's nothing for it to be sturdy into. So just chill.
Okay, one last question for maybe the both of you. And when going through the modules, Vickie, sometimes I'm not sure if I'm answering the question with not enough information or if I'm putting too much information. Like, do you have any guidance on?
There's a wide range of people in this program. So sometimes I give a half a page for an answer and somebody writes in a small paragraph with three sentences, and then somebody writes in as much as that, and then I can't scroll beyond. And like, I would say that if it scrolls beyond, that it may be a little bit too much information. But a lot of the times, like aside from the welcome packet, which had a lot of questions in it, right, the other modules, there's that the one part that you that is for you. That is for your exploration. That is for you to get clear about things. And then the short part where you turn things in is kind of like the summation of everything that you explored in the longer packet. Does that make sense?
Yes. I just wanted to make sure that I was putting enough information where it would make sense to you without me having to describe my life.
You'd be surprised at how much information and background people think they need to give that they actually don't. I don't need the backstory. I don't need like what happened when you were 3. And although I love the stories, because I'm a storyteller, some of the questions are pretty straight to the point, like what's your package and what price point is it and who is your target audience. It doesn't have to be a huge explanation, but I do want you to be specific and clear. Don't tell me that you're just a coach for women. Like I want more than that.
All right. I think,
and I would add to,
I think part of what was taking me so long to get through is that I might have been putting too much information, or maybe I don't know. But I think maybe I was overthinking it and thinking, oh, I need to write this, I need to write this, I need to write this. And I probably don't need to be that specific, and I could probably move a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also add as well to like what Vickie has said is that sometimes you have to remember like this is a journey, and sometimes we can get so stuck like this is not the last book. Trust me, once you write the first one, it will not be the last one. Okay, this is not the only program you will sell. This is not the only topic you will speak on stage. So sometimes we can feel like, oh my God, I want to get it right because like this is my book. This is why But you get to realize like you're in process, and you can acknowledge that and be like, oh my God, I'm growing. So this is where I am in this chapter of my life, in this phase of my life. This is what this is who I want to serve. This is the price point I want to serve at. And know that as you grow and you evolve, it can change. Like Vickie will tell you when she's like, even me, when I started and where Vickie started, we didn't start where we are now. We grew over time, and every single year we get better and better, and we go deeper and deeper. So allow yourself to like celebrate where you are at now, master it, have fun in it, Like, you just enjoy the journey, because as you grow and you evolve, you book those clients, you have those people that you speak with, and you'll be like, I don't like this kind of client. I like this person within this bigger set, and you'll become even more and more clear as the time goes by. So don't put too much pressure on yourself around like making it like, I have to get it right.
Like, right. And that's something that I talk about a lot too, right? Everything is a process. It's a journey. It's trial and error. You're never going to figure out. Like, I told them about how I started out with like mompreneurs and then realized they drove me insane. Like, they wanted parenting coaching. And I'm like, no, we're not talking about your crazy 3-year-old toddler who like bothers you while you're working and how no, I don't want to do that. I got out of mompreneur so fast.
Yeah. When I started as well, like Vickie, because before I became a coach, I was a social worker. So I believed, okay, well, I know about families. So I was like, I'm going to be a family coach for kids. And then I was like, okay, no. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm a millennial. I'm going to be a quarter life crisis coach because, quarter life. Then this is like every year. And then I finally realized that, like, for me, it's about merging the inner and the outer, like the spiritual and the practical of business. And by embodying that, this is where I am now. But I didn't start here, So I have no regrets. In fact, some of the same programs I sold when I was a quarter life crisis coach, because humans are humans, the principles are the same. It's just the person is different, like confidence, clarity, like all these things, boundaries. I taught all of that when I did quarter life crisis coaching and life coaching. But I knew that I wanted to work specifically with entrepreneurs. I knew specifically I wanted to work with female entrepreneurs. I knew specifically I wanted to work with female entrepreneurs who already had a business. So as you go, you'll develop and you'll evolve. And hey, like, you outgrow your shoes, you outgrow your clothes. As you grow, it's the same. Different aspects of your business will evolve too. Cool. So is it Tammy? That's the name. Tamay. Oh, it's Tamay. Okay. So Tamay says, I don't have the support to do this in a timely manner. Vickie's program is already kicking my soul. Okay. I can't write my book yet. I won't have time to do other things in life, including another program I'm already enrolling. And I have to start my program from scratch while writing the book. I can hear Shanila and Vickie, but not Rhonda. Okay. So,
no problem.
As the sentiments have been echoed, there's a process. You're not at the book writing part yet?
Yeah, so, no, I'm not worried about that part.
What's the part
at this point, it's just actually kind of like what Rhonda had said, where we're trying to provide enough information, but because I'm starting from ground zero, I have no contacts. And then I appreciate that you just addressed some of my concerns, which is like, I want to do a professional job, but not, I've already confessed that I'm a recovering perfectionist, so I'm willing to give that up and go for 75%, which is so hard. I hate being average, but that's the hardest part. So when Vickie said, if you have to scroll down, I'm like, oh, okay, that's me. So like when you're filling it out and you have to scroll, there's more. But the other thing is that it's because I'm trying to get a handle on who it is that I really want to reach. And I thank you for helping me with giving me permission in terms of like, hey, you know what? You're going to grow. You're going to start with one audience. It's okay that you start to shift over as you realize this is where I really want to take it. Because part of it for me is coming out of the closet as a mystic. Because I don't want to be like that living room entertainment. That's not what I'm for. I'm not the psychic. I've always avoided those labels. But it's about owning, like when she's saying, oh, we want you to put out what is unique about you. Like what is the thing that you do that is your talent? Mm-hmm. And that's scary for me because the whole witch hunt trial thing in the background, and you don't want to be, and it's wonderful though that more people like you are bringing spirituality into business where people are talking about it more. Meditation now is not considered as weirded out as it used to be even just 5 or 10 years ago. So a lot more things because of people like you have been making it more acceptable for people like me to come out. Yeah. At the same time, it's hard to be taken seriously by a lot of, because I work with entrepreneurs, professionals, like I used to have judges and lawyers. And I was telling Rhonda last night for the first time, as I told her that rocket scientists, these people, when they worked with me, then didn't want to tell anybody else that they were working with me.
Okay.
You know,
So
so
here's
it's,
the thing, right? So
yeah.
one of the first things that I want that come like as you're talking, because I'm also intuitive, and this is one of the things I do with my clients on the spiritual side. Like I tune in and I intuit for them. So the first thing I want to ask is, who are you afraid? Like, you know, in your world, who would be the one putting you on the witch hunt? Like, who would be doing the witch hunt in
My
your world?
entire family.
Okay.
Like, this is the whole thing about being Christian, or even a lot of my friends that are Christian. I'm afraid about them rejecting me. Like, even Rhonda, I didn't have that discussion with her. I love her, but so many people are Christian, and then I am too. But you know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
where it came from.
Fair enough.
Let's
Fair
be
enough.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So almost everybody I know,
This is
essentially.
actually, you're actually in a very, very good position and you don't even realize, because this is something that I've also faced. Also, Vickie has faced this. You know, Vickie, like talks about the law of attraction. She has books on it, and she's also Christian. Like same with me, like spirituality, woo, but then also Christian. So it's like, how do you, you know, like navigate and find a balance where you feel accepted? And the truth is, Tame, that you have to really accept yourself first. So right now, like I feel your energy, and you're like this. You're like, oh my god, I don't want them to know. I'm like, like hiding. And you've got to just like open up, girl, and just like bust out of that shell and know that if your family get upset, they don't understand what you're talking about. They're like, oh my god, she's gone to the dark side. Oh my god, we're losing our baby girl. What's happening?
Yeah.
You have to trust that they love you. And I would even go as far as saying, like, go come out to your parents, get out of the spiritual closet and go have a conversation with them. And not from a place of needing their validation, but from a place of drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is who I am. And I don't want you to agree. I don't want you to, like, you know, understand. I just want you to know that this is who I am, and I'm no longer willing to hide myself. And you will find that when you stop closing yourself off in that way, people, lawyers, like rocket scientists who want to be woo, who they're in the closet woo, all of a sudden they're like, Tame is my girl because she gets it and I can be myself around her. I'm so happy to work with Tame. And I'll share with you my experience around this. So one of the topics that I talk about that's very controversial, or at least I thought it was controversial, when I started talking about it, was like the seductress as an aspect of the divine feminine. And I know for those of you who are not woo, you're like, what's going on here? Just like take what you can, what you can't, leave it at the door, okay? But when I started talking about this, I was so scared because I thought like, oh my God, that's taboo. It's so raunchy. If I talk about seduction, will people think I'm like a hoe? You know what I mean? Like, you know, all this stuff. So I was like holding back. And I can tell you, I had to just allow myself to come out, and I went and I did this live stream, and I called it my confessional video. And I did a live stream and I said, hello world, this is who I am. I believe in spirituality. I believe in woo stuff. I believe in feminine energy and blah, blah, blah. And I allowed myself to talk about the thing that was so scary. And I'm telling you, I got off that live stream and I was shaking, but I was so free. And I got message after message after message of people, even people from my high school would say, Shani, oh my God, I've been reading books about this stuff and now you're talking about it. Oh my God, I thought I was alone. And so Tame, when you allow yourself to let your light shine unapologetically, all of you on here, because all of you have something that you talk about that you are afraid some parents gonna get upset, some family member, some ex first, whoever is gonna get upset. Money, maybe you want to talk about money, maybe you want to talk about success. So you just got to get out of the closet and know that like the witch hunts, the witch hunts now happen on social media. You won't be burnt at the stake, but what you can do is you can block, you can delete comments, you can block people. Okay, so there are many things that social media allows you to do that back in the day you'd have been tied up on a pole and burned. Now you can block people. You can delete people, you can unfriend people, you can say, Instagram, Facebook, do not show this content to this type of person.
Oh,
Right?
I have to learn that one about not showing it to that type of person. I do want to say this though, in terms of like my family, update, my mother, family, they haven't spoken to me for like 8 years. So it's not like I can go and talk with them. Won't even accept my phone calls. So with my sister and her family, just last week, I reestablish connection with them. So if I come out and by the way, they're ministers. So Pentecostal ministers.
Oh, I'm Pentecostal background, so I can
Okay,
imagine.
so you get that. Okay, you
Yeah.
understand that. So this is the thing is that they before when I'd say, oh, I heard the angels tell me something, they would, well, how do you know it's an angel? How do you know? You know what I mean? And it's like I can't prove to them this stuff, and they'll say, well, you know, the other side can be very accurate about information. I'm like, well, I'm not listening to them for that reason. You know, I said they're just present, but for me, it's not woo woo. For me, it's something I grew up with. It's very. I've always wanted to be able to talk to people like it's as natural and normal as like your hair, you know, like it's just something that you have and it's a part of you. It's an extension of you and not something that's separate. And like I said, it's made that way. So I guess for me is, like I said, the main thing is being accepted as valid by other people. And then also, you know, because there's a lot of people that I could really truly help, but when they don't know and I'm helping them, they get really helped. And I'm not saying that I've come out and then they've been like, but I just don't come out.
But let me ask you a question, right? Like, first of all, with the parents and people who don't know, you can just set a boundary. No, I don't have this discussion with you. Like, I have friends we don't talk about my business. That's not a conversation we have. We talk about Christmas, talk about food, we talk about recipes, we talk about furniture, shopping. But we just don't have conversations about my business. And so if that person is somebody that you do not feel comfortable speaking with about it, it's just literally an energetic boundary and then like a physical boundary. So if they start talking, yeah, it's good. And they want to go more, no, it's okay. I'll pass on this convo. And be okay with like drawing that line in the sand. Now, as for it being something that is, you want it to feel for people as like natural as they're just like a part of who they are, which is
it is an extension of who we are. We all have it, right?
Exactly. But do you really want people who don't get it as your clients?
No, I'm not trying to convince them. But what I am concerned about is them bullying away or driving away people that are working with me, drilling into, especially somebody who's like on the fence and wants to be helped but is afraid. And you know, there's a lot of people that are in that area, that very gray. I think that's the vast majority of the population now. And it's true, I do want to go for the people that really want to be helped, because anyone who approaches me with a genuine need, and that's the key, it has to be a genuine need. When it's from there, then all of a sudden I completely shift into an altered, like it's a greater, more expanded me. The compassion comes pouring out. I could be having the crappiest day of my life, but someone shows up like that and I completely, you know, become this other being that is completely available and present and able to help someone. And so that's my concern, is if they don't, when they come in that state ready to be helped as opposed to afraid, I can help them. If they come with their guard up, then I don't have...
But if you believed that they come to you ready.
Yeah.
I think this is, again, one of those things of us worrying, and I say us because it's me, worrying about things that haven't happened yet.
When how to put it in the book, like how am I going to approach people how am I going to present it? And even because I'm starting from the ground zero of building my business, so I'm not sure whether to let that cat out of the bag from the beginning or try to continue to keep it under wraps for now. You know, that's the part that I'm struggling with.
Don't keep it
The
under
world needs to see Tamay, and then you need to all of Tamay.
You know, my mother did not speak to me for 10 years. She did not meet my my second son when he was born. And I spent so much of my life, and I'm not saying this is you, but because we seem Tame and I have such a similar upbringing and background, she's half Chinese, that I spent so much of my life looking for approval and love from my mother.
Yeah.
And everything I did, I was afraid she wouldn't love me if. I was afraid she would be upset if. She wasn't even watching. And I remember a friend telling me at one time, you can't go to Home Depot and get milk. And this comes back to me all the time. This was actually a boss of mine.
Thank you.
And he said, you cannot go to Home Depot and get milk. And I kept looking for something from her that was unavailable. And she still can't give it to me.
Yeah.
I told her about my programs and my packages, and she's like, okay, that's really great that you do this. And how much do people pay you for that? Oh, really? And I don't think you can actually sell that package again. That was a one-time fluke. So there's a point where, you know, I told my sister that I will probably die still wanting my mother's love and approval, because that's just how children are. But I have also accepted and understood where she came from and what she's available to give and what she can give and what she can't. And she really just can't give unconditional love. She can't give understanding because she's mentally ill. She had a whole bunch of different problems growing up, and her life has just, in her world, been hard. It really hasn't, but in her world, it has been really hard. Mm-hmm. And what I would say to you is, you know, I tried to be somebody else for my husband too, because that's what I grew up thinking. I have to be somebody for my mom. I have to be somebody for my dad. I have to be somebody for my friends. I have to be somebody for my husband in order for him to love me more and accept me more and want to be with me and to be that perfect wife and all that stuff. And finally, after I got sick, I just said, you know what? This is who I am. And I am tired of trying to, it takes so much energy to try to be somebody else and then have to mitigate, oh, well, what are they going to think? Maybe I should do this instead so that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I finally said to him, forget it. I don't want to live the rest of my life this way. I tried to be something for you, made myself miserable. You didn't even like it. And now the two of us are miserable. And ironically, after I decided to be crazy Vickie, you know, and Vickie the extra, then he was like, you know what? I actually like you so much more like this. Why?
Who? Your husband?
Yes, because I was actually myself. My kids were like, you look so much happier. I was just like funny and hysterical, like I always thought I was. But, you know, it was real. Everything changed when I said, and I drew that boundary, like, you know, like Chanel is saying, draw the line in the sand. And I'm just like, you know what, this is what I'm available for. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And I remember I had the same conversation with Jacques, because sometimes people think that Jacques and Rhonda are a little extra and a little out there sometimes. And I'm like, who the heck cares? Because guess what? I attract my tribe and I repel the people that don't like me. And great marketing does that. You attract great people and you repel the others. Because if we try to pretend like we're somebody else, we are attracting somebody that likes that person. And we're not that person.
Well, I guess the hard part for me is that I literally did lose. The more of myself I reveal, the more I lose. You know, I've started essentially all over in terms of meeting people.
To me.
I'm sorry?
But who have you gained?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have to say this is my new tribe. Mm-hmm. And it really was Rhonda who took me by the hand. And I had made this decision just before she had spoken to me about Vickie's program. I was listening to a broadcast where this woman had said, I looked at the road to recovery. And I looked at the road of living my dreams or continuing on the path that I was on. She said both of them were going to be hard. Really hard. But the difference, she said, is that one of them, at least, she would end up with some of the things along the way that were worth living for. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's why I chose to jump into this program, because this was scary for me. Miranda held my hand. I talked with Vickie. She fell in love with her. So she's got my other hand.
Did not like me.
I really did not want to like her. But as soon as I saw her picture when we went to her landing page for the program, I went, oh, darn it, I know this woman. Like, not that I'd met you or seen you, but like, you know, I knew her because of my Asian background. It's like, oh, she's the one who pushes up her glasses. We walk around. She's like super smart. She's the one who had the, you know, if she didn't speak English as a first language, she would have had the dictionaries, you know, for, you know, I knew what she's like. And when it said that she was on the, what is it? The New Year, the book club. What was that? The yearbook club in the newspaper and all that. I was like, yeah, that's her. I know who she is. And I know she won't let me fall. I know she'll walk me through this. And your stuff is kicking my butt. I mean, it is so deep. It's like these deep essay questions. And I'm like, how do I want to approach it? Because I'm literally approaching it from starting all over. And so thank you for helping me get past that. Are you sure you want to keep this under wraps? Because it's almost like, would it be a bigger reveal to do it later when people know me and they're not afraid of me, as opposed to just coming right out and they're like, okay, she's cuckoo.
You're thinking today is cuckoo? No, we just love you more.
No, they're all like, I'm not moving. I'm not saying nothing. You just see their faces. They're all frozen.
You're normal. To us, you're like one of us, you know?
Yeah. Like, people always say to me, what chapter should I put first? You know, what chapter? And then for some reason we have this idea, society has told us, we save the best to last. Like, you know, you save your dessert. I eat dessert first. I do.
I love you.
Dessert first, and then I go back to the other things. Like when I want a dessert, I eat a dessert. I'm not saving that sucker till last. So when I'm telling people all the time, I'm like, you got to put your best stuff first. You don't want to save everything for last. So the big reveal, go do it. Go do it.
That, and the other thing is that because I've been keeping this under wraps, the other thing is like, I don't have testimonials. I don't have, any proof where I can say, oh, this person went, you know what I mean? It's just my word saying it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the other thing, is that part of it.
You can tell about the case studies without mentioning names for the people that you've helped for free, because you've said already in this conversation, when people come to me, and even if I'm not having a bad day, I just, I help them with whatever, use those as your case studies and testimonials and examples. They don't have to have names to them right now.
And give yourself credit for the work you've done. And also, when you come out and you go online and you start talking about it, people feel that, and they're like, oh my God, I got a breakthrough from reading her 2-line post, and now I want to work with her. Like, they experience a transformation from you directly as well. Yeah. So you got permission.
You kind of had a coming out as well too.
I need that permission. I'm sorry, what did you say?
You had a kind of coming out too. Because she is an intuitive and she's a reinvention strategist. And so there was a time where it was very, she was very, I'm just going to say logical, right? This. And then all of a sudden there's like Chenille the woo-woo, which I always knew was there. But she kind of had to do her own reveal as well. How was that?
For me?
Yeah.
So freeing. What was I waiting for? Like, I look back, I was just like, are you kidding me? I could have done this 3 years ago. Like, what? So the only regret I had was not doing it sooner. So just like, step out, girl, and just, because people are waiting for you. You have so much medicine in you to share with them. And when you just see yourself first, because I know you want to be seen by mommy and your family and all these things, but when
actually, I don't want to be seen.
Oh, you don't want to be seen?
I don't. See, that's the thing, is that they're on my Facebook, so whatever I post when I do the lives,
I'm physically seen. But
you just have to create a family group in Facebook, and then basically when you do your videos, it's not shown to them.
I would even skip that part and let Tammy just go straight in, like showing up as who she is. I would even skip that. You know why? Because I feel like when she bursts, there's like gonna be this like powerful things that just like flow out of her. But she's got to like face that fear that she's gonna be rejected and she's gonna die, and she's gonna see that you really actually won't die. It will feel like it in the moment. And then you're like 10 minutes pass and you're like, oh my God, the post is there. And I'm still breathing.
I guess the hard part is that I've left the door open for them for so many years. It's like I look back and it's a tunnel now. It's a tunnel. Do you know what I mean? Like, when are they, because I've given up. I actually officially gave up on my family around Christmas, after what I went through around January. Is when I actually just was like, okay, after all these decades, I'm giving up.
One of the things too, Tammy, and I think Vickie, you kind of said this briefly.
Yeah. From Home Depot.
No, not that. But that was a definite golden nugget to write that down. But if you think about it, like, people don't actually care about you. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't realize this until, because I'm originally from Jamaica and I like lived in Europe for many years, and so I went back to visit. And I was feeling so afraid when I went to my Pentecostal church. I was like, oh my God, I never called them. They're going to think that I'm terrible. And my husband's white. So I'm like, oh my God, like they're going to, and my sister was like, Chenille, nobody cares. They've gotten married. They got kids. They got new jobs. They're in school. They do not care that much. Like, they care probably for like 20 minutes of conversation. They don't care that much. And I'm like, right, they have lives of their own. And sometimes we can think like what we're going through, because we're so enveloped in it, we think like it bothers everyone, but really and truly, even if somebody does talk about you, it'll be for like 20 minutes and then they move on with their life. You can handle 20 minutes.
With my sisters and my brothers, yes. Thank you.
Jacques?
Yeah, that's been the hardest part. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tammy. Jacques Navalette, I know, Jacques, you joined in a little bit later, but we were kind of talking about foundations, getting out of overwhelm, having the mindset for setting up the business, being in the zone of month one and not trying to like predict what's going to happen when you start writing your book. You have any questions or anything for Chanel? She's already been on longer than I thought you were going to be able to be on, so thank you. Novelette as well, if you want to type in or unmute or whatever. Jacques.
Yeah. I can't see you, baby. My wife is actually, she's trying to stick her face over there. If I can.
No, my head, no. Got the black girl rag on. Hi. Got the black girl rag on.
She's getting ready. To kick our day. I had a conversation with Vickie this morning through message, as our life is like really, really all over the place, and we're being challenged at every turn. And we realize that a lot of this that comes at us based on our faith and what we are and what we believe, that a lot of times these are attacks to prevent us from moving forward. And that's always been the way my life has been set up. As soon as something hits me, I tend to back off and I tend to stop moving forward and I lose momentum. So having someone to keep me accountable was something I knew I needed. So prior to meeting Vickie, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for mentors and everything else. I'd finally gotten with a friend who was a longtime friend as well as a mentor. We co-authored a book together that ended up being a bestseller, but the accountability still wasn't there. So I was still seeking some other things. And that's when I had been following Lisa for years. I stepped on Lisa Nichols's campus. And in turn, I thought that was everything that I needed, when I really realized that it was the people that I met through stepping on that campus that made the difference. Lisa is wonderful. She is everything that I needed and wanted her to be. But at the same time, that one-on-one that I necessarily needed, I could not get from her at this moment.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in that bracket to really get that. And she has so much going on. So I started following Vickie a while back before I ever went to Speak and Write, and absolutely fell in love with what she does. Just her quirkiness, because she mixed and matched what me and my wife are always considered just goofy. Vickie would always say, people don't think I'm funny. We think she's absolutely hilarious. So she makes our day when we get to see her post, and just the simple things about life and how she makes it funny. Well, seeing what she did, I was actually training with someone else and realized that nothing against them, but I still wasn't getting everything that I needed. I didn't need someone that was going to pacify me when I was going through something or dealing with things. I needed someone who was really going to be on me and be in me and say, hey, I understand what you're going through. I empathize, I sympathize, but don't let that be your stumbling block in moving forward. So that's what Vickie was for me. So I guess it's not necessarily more of a question. It was more of a statement that I needed to make, that, you know, I'm thankful that we ran across Vickie. I'm thankful that, you know, we're taking this journey and learning what it is that we need to do, because I so easily can let things get in front of me and say, okay, I'm not going to be able to do this right now, and I have to focus on this. Yes, I still have to focus on those challenges that we have, but I realize that this journey that I'm taking will alleviate a lot of the pains, whether it's the challenges placed in front of me to stop me or whether they're self-inflicted, because I have a lot of issues of self-inflicting things that I can't overcome. I hear all too loudly. I had that conversation with Vickie that one of my issues was was wanting the approval of my mother for so many years, and that was always a holdup for me, which in turn became needing to have self-approval when it came to women, and that became very toxic for me, to where I would step into wrong relationships, that I would overcompensate, and it would cause an issue on both sides. So now being married to someone who gets me, gets it, understands what it is that we need to do and have to do in moving forward, and definitely taking on this challenge has been a godsend. And I'm thankful to the tribe that Vickie's created for us. So I love seeing all you guys' faces. I love seeing the fact that she's willing to not ever feel intimidated and making it only about her, and being able to bring someone on like you, Chanel, because it's, you know, to be able to see someone who's worked with her and get that testimonial up front for us to say, look, she helped me. So I know that this is going to work with you. And these were my challenges. And this is what I went through. And look where I am right now. That's always something great. And I love the fact that Vickie will step aside and say, hey, I'm here to help you, but I'm also going to bring in other people as well to help you and get you over to that next level. So that's what it is. I'm just happy to be on here. I'm happy to be a part of this. I'm happy to be moving forward. Me and my wife are so excited that we have our Asian mom that is kicking our butts all over the place to make this doggone thing happen.
Yeah,
We're looking to be able to support all of you as well. And we're looking so forward to being able to work with you guys and be tied to Vickie for life. So Vickie is my only coach.
Thank you, Jacques. So Chanel, out of that, I would love if you could address the idea of we get to choose in our journey how we react or don't react. So we can choose to go through this journey in complete freak out mode, overwhelm, want to procrastinate, you know, all that stuff, or we could choose to do it in flow, in ease, in calm and peace.
Yeah. So I think we have to realize, like, every single thing, it's a perspective. Nothing means anything outside of the meaning we give it. Like, if you think about $100 bill, it's literally a piece of paper that's worth like a couple cents, just like the piece of paper in a notebook. But because we perceive it as $100 bill, it has the value and the effect of $100 bill. And so when things happen in life, it's like, what perception are you placing on that? Because whatever value you're giving it, that's what you're going to get in return. If you have a value of $100 bill, you're going to get something worth $100 back. And so I'll give you like an example from my life. 15 years old, my mom dies. She was sick for 2 years before that she dies. My sister was 8 years old. 15 years old, I become a mother figure, have to raise my sister. Now, many people at that age, you lose a parent, you could make it mean, oh my God, I'm all alone, like life sucks. This is the worst thing that could ever happen to me. Or you could make it mean, life is short. Let me live to the fullest capacity of my potential. Let me be all that I came here to be. Let me make sure that when I die, like, I leave a legacy behind. And so things can happen. Like, Jacques, you know, your wife, she may be having a bad day and you come home and you see her, she's grumpy or she's having a bad day. You could make it mean that you did something wrong, or you could make it mean, honey, are you okay? You know, but if we make it mean that we did something wrong, we start to act like we did something wrong. We start to be defensive. And then all of a sudden now something is wrong with you. Like, now she is angry at you. You know what I mean? So it's very different than when if something, she's having a bad day and you're like, sweetie, honey bunch, babe, you know, whatever you call her, you know, are you okay, sweetie? You know, you give her that little lovey-dovey thing that she likes. She can open up to you and tell you what's really wrong. So our perspective can affect everything. Even if you think about in business with sales, if you get on a sales call or a sales conversation with someone and the first thing you're thinking about is, oh my God, what if they don't buy? What if they don't buy? What if they don't buy? Then you are, again, $100 bill, the value you're exchanging, the thing you will get in return is they will not buy, right? So in every single thing that you guys are doing, you're going through these PDFs that Vickie is giving you with these long questions, like paragraphs about your life. You could make it mean, oh my God, I'm having so much clarity. Yo, this is so clear, like so much clarity. Every line is just another degree of clarity. 360 degrees of clarity. Or you could make it mean, oh my God, I'm freaking out. There's so much to do. But the result that you get will be whatever value you place on that $100 bill, right? So every single thing, and it's easy to say now that we're like all here on the live, on a video, we're like all chilling, but the moment like stuff happens, we're like, we forget. But we just have to like keep reminding ourselves and not judge ourselves for when we slip up and forget. So if you slip up and you're like freaking out about the PDF, hold on, acknowledge yourself, forgive yourself, let it go, and then shift the perspective consciously and just do the thing. Yeah, that's my take on like perspectives, and especially because everybody's like, oh my God, I need to write this book. And then I need to build this business that's gonna be connected to the book, and everybody's freaking out. So it's like,
I can't believe she's trying to get me to nail down my target audience.
yeah,
Do that.
yeah. So it could make it mean that like, well, this is somebody I love to work with now. This is where I'm at right now. For this chapter of my life, this is my person, and I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna give it my best. Or I could make it mean, oh my God, what if I did it wrong? What if this is not the person? Will they really buy? What if they don't like me? What if they think I don't know anything? What if they, what if? I know the reason I'm saying these stuff is because I've asked those questions myself. So I know you guys relate, because I know you guys relate, okay?
Yeah. Hi. Vickie says, thank you for this perspective on perception. I got caught up in emotions. It's so easy, isn't it? Because we're emotional people. And especially if we're empathic and intuitive and, sensitive, we're emotional people, right? So I think a lot of the times, and if you guys have not read the book, Loving What Is, it's on the recommended reading list. I love that book. It changed my perspective on so much, because the question always was, okay, so what if what you're thinking really isn't true? And what if you thought the opposite? What could happen in your life? So my example was, I didn't want to tell my husband how much I was making because I was afraid he was going to go spend it all, or that like he wouldn't want to take care of me, or if I made more money than I already make more money than he does, but if I made more money than he did, that I wouldn't feel loved and adored and taken care of and all that stuff. So I kept myself small because of that fear. And then it was a matter of, wait a minute, what if that's not really true? Like, I thought I was going to lose him somehow, right? Lose his love, maybe not lose the marriage, but I'd lose his love. And I'm like, wait a minute, what if it doesn't really happen that way? What could change in my life if that thought wasn't really true? Oh my gosh. Then all sorts of stuff could happen, right? Mm-hmm. I could blow up. I could have, all of you guys in my program. I could have 6-figure launches. I could have 25K clients. I could have, like, all sorts of stuff could happen if I just let go of the idea that I was going to lose my husband, because that came into my sales conversations. It came into my networking. It came into everything. It was like a,
yeah.
Come on. No.
How you do one thing is how you do everything. And sometimes the way we are hiding and playing small, it affects how we show up online. Like Tammy is a great example. She knows she's this big ball of powerhouse cosmic energy that's gonna like evolve the planet. And then she's like, oh my God. But even though when she's with her clients, they experience her, but then in online, it's like, she's like almost not showing up, almost hiding, so it does. But the thing I think too, Vickie, and everybody here, is like, let go of the judgment. Like, when you see that you have these belief systems, it's just a belief system. So, oh, that's interesting that I believe that if I become famous, then they will kill me, I will die. It's interesting that I believe that if I talk about spirituality, that my father will banish me into the abyss and I will no longer be his daughter. It's interesting. And you allow yourself to acknowledge belief, because when you acknowledge it, you take the power away from it. You take that charge off. So what I used to do, I would like go to be an emotional eater. So instead of like being aware of the problem, I would just go to the fridge. So now what I do is I catch myself. If I find myself walking to the fridge, I'm like, what are you avoiding, girl? And then I allow myself to get the awareness, because once I know what it is, I'm like, well, that's not true. And even if it was true, I could handle the consequences.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, cool. Can we let's see if Manavalette has one last person that has an S. I know, Chanel, we've taken so much of your time. Thank you. Navalette?
Hey, Vickie.
Hey.
Nice.
Hi, Novelet. So I'll answer Novelet's question and then I'll probably hop off afterwards.
Yeah. We usually only go an hour, but thank you. So, Navalette, do you have anything for Chanel since everybody else has gone?
Yeah, I've been soaking in everything that she's saying. I've understand. I've been there. The clarity. Oh my God, the overwhelmness. So a lot of everything that she says in terms of as it relates to me, that I've been there and you have support me through that, because before the group, I spoke to you and I was just like all over the place when you said I hear so many different books in you. But one of the best thing that ever happened for me was the storytelling group, when I took the storytelling and had that breakthrough in terms of who I am, and realized that I was using basically 3 words to tell people who I am or what I want to talk about. And I would choose things that relates to what really is inside that I'm not telling anyone. And it's that my encounter, my experience, and I'm so passionate about doing all the things that I think attach to my truth, but never open up. And in that group, having to do my stage story and having the breakouts um, gives me, as she said, 360 clarity and who I am, what I need to do. And I know that I have to evict shame and just come out loud and said I'm a domestic abuse survivor. And and this is why I'm so passionate about children. This is why I make the decision that I make. This is why I chose to coaching and study 2 years of law of attraction coaching and all the stuff that I do and the decisions that I made around who I am, but would never say who I am because of shame. And as I got deeper working with Vickie and I got deeper into my experience, I realized subconsciously I was protecting the person that hurt me because I didn't want, because we're from the same place in Jamaica. We have a lot of friends here. Some people know, but some people don't know. My younger children don't know depths of what happened. So how do I tell this story? So I realized that I was not only protecting me, I was protecting him also. And last night I sat here and I was watching a replay with Jada Pickett's in the round table, and they were talking about domestic abuse, violence and survivors. And that was one of the things that her mother pointed out, that she felt that she was protecting Jada's father by not sharing the story. So she wasn't only ashamed for herself, but she was protecting him. And I was sitting here with the tears just running down my face, and I'm like, as you said again, you're never alone. You might think you're alone because you're so afraid to tell people, but you're never alone. So being in Vickie tribe, I told her, his name that just spoke, you know, she got a tribe sister because we stuck with Vickie. I have learned so much stuff, and I felt much lighter. I feel much free. I have a sense of where my book is going, and I'm aligning myself in terms of what I need to do, how to put the story, how to, you know, make my questions and all of that. So,
and Novelet, I would also say as well, like just as you sat there and Jada's interview brought you to tears, there's so many families who, when they read your book and they hear your story, it's going to move them. And some of them are still in the situation, so it's going to move them out of the situation, you know, because they're waiting for you. And so sometimes, like, you know, we are the light for the, you know, like if you think about it, there's a scripture in the Bible that says like we are the light, you know, so like when you shine that light and you put it out into the world as who you are, you give so many people the permission to like show up. And just like imagine if Vickie was hiding, like none of you would be here right now. If she was hiding, if she was still afraid, and you know, she was still
that's so true.
And imagine if, like, for you and Jacques, you guys came from like Lisa's campus. Like, imagine if Lisa was still hiding. Imagine the millions of people who watch like The Secret and all that stuff who would have never been able to understand because they didn't see anyone of representation of themselves on that movie. But because she was there as a woman, as a Black woman with natural hair, like she was able to speak to people who were not the stereotypical person in society, you know? So there are many ways in which when we step up and speak out, like, and even if you look at everyone here, we are all unique in our own ways, and there are people who are like us waiting for us, you know?
That is so true, because what I realized after I was just driving and bawling because I wasn't able to sit and take the class. I was driving, and I just was so determined to listen to that specific class that day. And having that breakout, I put, my notes in the group. But what I realized, even after I did, and I was able to leave the relationship and snatch my power back and move to another state, done well for myself, went back to school, accomplished quite a lot of stuff for myself. But keeping that secret was still keeping me small because I did not see my accomplishment, because I was so protective of the judgment, as you said again, what people is going to think, how they're going to relate it to me or attach to what I'm doing or try to interfere with what I am doing. But Vickie, I love you. I am working past that. And I know with she in my corner and with me and beside me, I know I'm going to get past that. And as I, said before in the group, that I have seen people that at the Lisa Nichols conference that I was in group with, who I sat with, had lunch with, I watched all of them, like 3 people from that conference that I met and know and spoke to at the conference, sat beside, share group with, has become bestseller and is doing awesome and have their breakthrough. So I don't have no doubt that God had put me in the best. And as he said, I chose another book coach before, and when I thought about it, you felt like you were in an ocean, not anything against them because they didn't do anything. But that was the feeling that I wasn't getting what I need and know that I was not going to get what I need. But with like Vickie, you feel like I come home, I'm at home, that one-on-one, that relationship. So I know I'm in the right place.
You guys are in your tribe. So that's what I was saying, like, even with the feeling of overwhelm and stuff, just trust the process. Take it step by step. Go through step by step, guys. Step by step. She's got you covered. She spent so much effort and time and years honing her craft. And she knows what's week 1, week 2, module 1, month 2. Like, trust the process. You're in excellent hands. That's what I would say.
Step by step, not the entire staircase.
That's right. That's right. I mean, you guys can have an idea about where that's going, because I do want you to have that bigger vision to aim for. Yeah. But be in the now and be in this month and be in where you are. And I really want to emphasize, there's nobody who's ahead or behind. You're exactly where you need to be. Exactly where you are is completely right. And no matter where you are, we can get you where you need to be. So, I think it's easy to get into like comparison mode and worrying about, oh, well, somebody else might have finished and I'm behind it. Like, none of that's allowed. Like, overwhelm's not allowed. Comparisonitis is not allowed. Like, none of that is allowed. Right. And I didn't realize that this was a Vickie Love Fest today, but I'm feeling pretty so thank you for all the wonderful, kind words. And Chanel, I know we took up a lot of your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys got a lot out of hearing from Chanel and her words of wisdom. She's an amazing, amazing person, an amazing coach. I'm so lucky to have her as my friend and to have her on with you guys and share her with you and share you guys with her, like both ways. It's amazing to see all of you together. So
Vickie, I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yeah.
What is Shanice's last name? I would love to follow her on Facebook.
Stewart. She's mostly on Instagram.
My Facebook is a longer name, Guido Di Fonda Cabaroni. But if you follow me on Instagram, it's Chanel Official. So I'll type it in the chat. It was really a pleasure being here. I'm going to go. It's 8:15 p.m. So I have to go have dinner with my man.
You stay on All hats off,
So
but
thank you so much for having me, Vickie. Love you guys so much. You are in great hands. Process.
And thank you.
All right, guys.
thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right, I hope that was useful to you guys. I know we didn't cover like stuff that was in month one, so I know we've run over time, so if you guys need to jump off or whatever, that's fine. I expected Chanel to be on for like half an hour, and then we would have time to talk about other things, but so long as you guys are getting something out of it, I hope that that was good for you, just to see Chanel, after she wrote her book, started having 50K months. Granted, she was a little ahead. She wasn't a rising star, you know, so it's hard to take somebody from, you know, 0 to $500,000, right? Like that's not usually how it works. You got to stair step it up there. So, you know, she was already making some good money and she wrote her book, and like 50K months are like no big deal to her anymore. So, and you know, she, like you heard her say, she's going for multiple 7. So she has done so much. It's been so amazing to just watch her. Like, I feel like the both of us has grown up kind of together. She was in a certification program that I was in 3 years ago, and that's how we met. So anyways, I wanted to make sure, okay, Tamay says only comparison is with the schedule. Should be on until 3, but beginning of workbook module 2 addressed. So month 1, so basically October, was supposed to be the whole entire foundations, business setup, like all 6 of those pieces. Again, the longer questions are for you guys. That would have been like if I was coaching you and we were on a coaching call, this is what we would be talking about and investigating and diving deep into. So that's where I want you to be really thinking about those things, and those ones are for you. You can write them as long as you want, because those ones are for you, not to turn in. But the turn in part is a lot shorter, so it's like, you know, a synopsis of the things that you have figured out in that section, in that part, so that I know that you're, you know, finishing your stuff. There's a contest and prize going on, you know, and everything. So make sure you get those things turned in. It also helps me. I really do read them. Like, I'm not going to comment back or anything, but I do really read them all. And that helps me. Like, when you have a question, then I can answer better because I've read that. I know what's going on with you, right? So that's really what it's for. Most of it is for your clarity, but then so that I know that you're clear, because really the whole purpose of month 1 is get clear so that we know who you want to talk to, what it is that you do, so that the book will align properly, so that book will actually get you the clients. Because if it's a little like this, then the book reader isn't the same as your ideal client, and you might have to tweak it a little bit. Right? So anybody have any questions on what's going on in month 1 that I can answer for you? No? Synopsis comes from doing work versus just jumping in. Tell me what you mean, Tamay.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What I was referring to is the part where, so I go through the entire workbook and I deep dive as if, and I love that you just said that it's as if you were asking me the questions, like we were sitting face to face. So now I'll do that. I'll use that imagery and pretend you're sitting in front of me and do it that way. But the main thing is, unless I do that, I don't feel I can appropriately answer the questions that you've put on the shorter one, because I want it to come from me actually digging deep and looking like, what am I really trying to communicate? What am I willing to? And now you guys have at least helped me to shed another huge layer about the whole thing about being a mystic, because I want to put it out there, but I wanted to like it to be my main headline. You know what I mean? I want it to be something that, oh, by the way, she happens to be, you know. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. So definitely you have to do the longer part first before you can turn in the turn in part that is shorter. That's the synopsis. Yeah. So that's really the purpose of it. So it's like I'm coaching you, but I'm not really sitting in front of you.
Right. Lovely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Anybody else have any questions about anything that's going on? Questions about what's coming up? All right, we're all good. Do you guys feel better? Like before we all get off, I'm unmuting everybody. What were some of your takeaways? What did you get out of listening to Chanel? How was that helpful for you? You can
Well,
talk.
aside from her overwhelming ability, oh, do you want to go, Rhonda? Go. Yeah. Okay. Well, aside from her overwhelming ability of her spirit and her energy and everything about her, it was like the way the two of you were actually giving me permission to unlock parts of myself that I've tried to keep, put away in these rather unattractive boxes at this point. But, trying to make it so that, I would somehow be able to fit in, because I felt unacceptable and unpresentable and like for a long, long time, all the uns. And so just to start over and to finally be building real friendships, real partnerships with people that care about me as a human being. The way that you said, because I'd made that decision before, which is probably why I was ready to work with you. Like I said, back in about January, Christmas time, to walk away from my family, the whole thing about getting milk from Home Depot, I loved that. And, the other things that she expressed. And I loved when you gave me the back door, where it's like, well, you can block them, just do your broadcast and you can put them in a family group and block them. And I loved when Chanel also said, you know what, I think you're ready to just let her rip anyway, so that felt, in this moment for me, it felt more empowering to go ahead and let it rip. But I like that I'm going to go ahead and set up the family group in case I'm bad at the last minute. I'm like, no, I can't, for whatever broadcast. But yeah, it would be good for them to see maybe at some point when it gets stronger, or, maybe like you said, my very first broadcast from the beginning, where they get to see me develop as a human being. I don't know, but I'm willing to pray about it and trust. And I appreciate the two of you really walking me through that. And I get to hear a lot of echoes in terms of when she was talking about Rhonda with her overwhelm, and when she was talking with Vickie about where she was at in her overwhelm, and doing multiple programs and everything else, and the beauty that she brought out by the time she got to speak to Nova and Novelette, and what was the name of the other individual, the gentleman with his wife, those two that are driving in the car. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm off. Go ahead. Who's
Awesome.
next?
Thank you. Rhonda wants to go. Both Rhondas wants to go. I can't unmute the Sadlers, so you guys have to unmute, but let's let Rhonda Wood go first. Rhonda.
I was actually showing.
Oh.
See my henna?
Yes.
Also.
Yes, your henna.
Thank you.
It's
also,
beautiful.
Thank you. It's just really cool just to be in a group, just like you said, of people that's for you, and that's not going, why are they doing that? Why are they doing this? And then, oh hi, why are they doing this? Like everybody's got ideas, and then this isn't cool, but it's cool that everybody that's in the group has gone through the same thing of just not being accepted. Like, how do we do this? Should we do it? And people that we thought that would be on our side, like about us doing this, we're totally not. And I mean from like where we want to move. Why do I want to move there? The taxes are too high. Duh, if we want to move there, then we plan on having money to pay for the taxes. We didn't say right now move. Like, of course we can't right now. But just the mere fact that everybody like wants everybody to make it, and everybody's got that same story. So it feels like a tribe and a family, but it feels like more than that. Like it's like a spiritual connection. Like everybody was supposed. Oh, I don't see you anymore. Can you see me?
You. Yep, we see you.
Okay. There's more on like a spiritual tip. Like it feels like everybody has been broken down. Like everybody has like reached a point of like either we're going to do this or either we're not. And it got like to a crucial point for us because I'm like, dude, we're going to have to do something, either a job or we're going to have to do something. But this is our job. This is supposed to be our job. The calling for us is so strong, especially for him right there. and it's so crazy because I just went, and I'll be brief. I just went just to support him to the speaking right, and it turned into so much more of like stuff that I had already been doing, but I just always just kept myself down. And he already said, babe, if you make more than me, I'm good with that. I'm not tripping. You can make 10 times quadruple more than me. So I'm just ready for the journey. And it's nice to have an accountability family and not just my husband, because we can get so caught up and just stuff that we're doing and doctors and kids and dogs and blah, 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 just so much that it's nice to come here and then we can be focused on this. So that's all I have to say. I'm going to leave with my henna. Have a wonderful day, y'all.
Thank you, Rhonda Wood, did you want to share something?
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, Neil stating that we just need to trust the process.
Yeah.
Trust our wisdom, trust our experiences, trust that, you know, I don't know if she said this, but what I got out of that was trust what you have within you.
Yep.
That we have what we need for right now and to succeed. We are going to be fine. Again, I am really grateful for this group. I'm really grateful for Vickie. I'm really, I think I said this in my welcome video, that I believe we're all divinely connected. I believe this is a divine connection. I believe we were meant to meet each other and encourage and support and you know, cheer each other on. I can't wait to see where this journey takes us. I'm really excited. So I am going to trust the process. I might forget. I might need y'all to remind me later. I'm just going to put that on out there, right?
Yep.
And there was one other thing. Oh, she mentioned that, you know, even if things don't go the way we think or the way we thought or the way we planned, that those issues that we had, those fears and you know, feelings, and that they no longer have power over us. That, you know, so I just appreciate her saying that.
Yeah. That reminds me of, you know, the unanswered prayers. Sometimes we get this idea in our head that it has to look a certain way, or that it has to happen a certain way, or that these are the steps that we're going to take. And sometimes that's not how it happens at all. We decide certain things, and like Impact Now, even this program, the way that this program came about, like I had decided, and I kid you not, that I was going to settle for Easy Writer. And I was just going to launch Easy Writer twice a year, and whatever I made off of Easy Writer, that was it. That was fine. I was happy with it. It was, I'm not going to say easy, but it was easy because it was already all done, created. Multiple people had gone through it, and I can just be known for Easy Writer. And lo and behold, my coach is like, stop selling bestseller. And I'm like, what? What do you mean stop selling bestseller? I can't stop selling bestseller. That's what it perks everybody's ears up. We gotta sell bestseller. And it wasn't until that really sunk in that I was like, you know what? This is the thing that I've been screaming about all this time from Easy Writer, was there's so much more. Bestseller is not the destination. You have to have the business processes, and you have to have the things to support the book, or the book is just going to flop or sit on the shelf. And it might be a great book, but it's not doing anything for you. And when I got so passionate about that, oh my gosh, I don't even hear people say about Impact Now. They do not say it's too much. And I will be quite honest with you. People have told me that Easy Writer is too much, that you know, they can't afford the investment, you know, all those responses, but it's different. Easy Writer promised them bestseller, and that was it. This program is about using your bestseller to get to 6 figures and beyond, and have a whole entire business strategy that goes with it. And I don't know anybody else who does that. Most other of my competition is just selling bestseller. So when I get on phone calls with people, it's not a matter of, we don't know if the value is in there because you're just like all the other best-selling coaches. That's never that is never, ever, ever the response anymore. It is, I see the value, I know the value, yes, I want to be in, this is when I can do it, or I need to fit, you know, like the objection is totally different now. And of course, then that leads me into, that is also why you guys, with the uniqueness that you have and what you have already inside of you, need to create that thing that makes you unique. And it's not just like the Love Fest, guys. Thank you so much for the Love Fest. But you see how everybody is saying, I joined this program because of Vickie. I joined the program because of Vickie. I joined the program because of Vickie. That is why they're going to join a program with you. So whatever you, and Tame is not the only person that has to come out of the closet about something. Every single one of us has something that they need to come out of the closet about. And whatever that something is your magnetism. That is your attraction factor, whatever that is. And then people are going to say, I'm so excited to work with Rhonda. I'm so excited to work with Tame or Jacques or the other Rhonda or Novelette or Vickie, because I get to work with you. Right? And that's what I want to see you guys blow up with, is that message and reaching those people. And realistically, you don't have to have a huge audience, massive email list, or anything like that to make the income that you want, right? So you get your book into the hands of 10 good people, you get on the conversations with them, you convert 3 of them, and you have a program that's $3,000 to $5,000, and you do that and repeat it every single month with a 3-month program. You're making, you know, depending on what your investment level is, right, $9,000 to $15,000 a month by getting your book into the hands of 10 good people. Okay, and the thing is, you can do that right now. You don't have to wait until the book is completely finished and out to make money. And that's why part of this contest, of this month's contest, is how many sales calls have you made? It's not about how many sales did you have, it's how many sales calls did you make. Because I want to get you guys into the habit of offering that call, asking people if they want to continue a conversation with you, and getting the practice of listening to their objections, hearing what they have to say, because guess what? Objections are the best social media posts. Answering people's objections are the best social media posts. And if you can answer their objections before they get on the phone, they have no objections anymore. You know, now when I tell people, yeah, well, what if you made your excuses your reasons, and I flip every one of their excuses into a reason why they should do something, they're like, crap, I have no more excuses. I'm like, well, sorry. That's how it is. So, all right. Zing, you got me, Vickie. Wow, people excited to work with me. Yes, people excited to work with you, every single one of you. And here's the thing, it's in the module somewhere that you guys invested at a high level for this program. So somewhere within you, you know that you are worth this investment and that your business is worth this investment. And people who you are going to help are going to get a conglomerate of all the different ways that you've invested in yourself, right? For them. So you should not have any sort of problems with having that package that's a little higher ticket, because somewhere within you, I know that you guys know that you are worth it. You just have to show up for the call and be confident that you can deliver, and confident in what you can help people with, and you'll convert those calls, right? Yes. All right, anybody have any questions? Vickie, can I put you on the spot real quick before we jump off?
Sure.
Okay, so I know with you that not too long ago, and I don't know what the numbers are. I know you said did you say tripled the amount of people that you
May.
In May, from May. And was part of that through getting more clear and getting more targeted with who you were talking to, and getting out more and just visibility? Tell me about that. Share with that, please.
Well, yeah. And that started though, because I just barely signed up with you. So it started with Driven and learning my pitch and toning down the fluff and just really getting clear. Yes. It has.
Okay. And
And
so
then in my
tripling by getting clear, guys.
Yeah, and getting and being clear in my conversations anymore. My
Mhm.
conversations when I'm interacting with my clients are just razor sharp. I have
Mhm.
learned, oh my gosh, because I'm really pretty vulnerable right now. Like trying to come through some crap. I cry. Um, Getting clear about putting them first and them relating to me. I had one client, she was on the table already, and she's talking about some of her crap. And I said, well, let me tell you something, honey. I said, I got me some crap too. And I started telling her it was fine tuned, it was laser sharp. And she looks up at me and she says, oh my gosh, no wonder you're so good at what you do. You understand how problems and you understand how to work with your clients, and you can relate to them and they relate to you. That really sets you apart.
Mhm. Mhm. And that's from sharing your story.
I had two of them actually tell me that.
Mhm. Yeah. So those things that we're so scared to share really allows the other person to be vulnerable back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
She
then
was not,
realize that they're not alone.
yeah, she's 90 years
Wow.
young. Yeah. And she says, I've buried everything. She says, I don't dwell on anything. She says, if something happens, I just stuff it. I don't, and she's tighter than a banjo string. I mean, her whole body's tense because of it. And I'm like, I said, yeah. And so she starts opening up about some of her emotions and everything. And so that's when I play on those emotions. And then I educated her about how emotions directly affect you physically and different things like dizziness and instability in walking, which the different things she's had, headaches and things like that. And then when I told her my story, she just totally relaxed. Oh, I'm safe with you. I
Mhm.
can tell you anything and I can just be myself. And she just opened up, and
Yeah.
she's making great strides ever since then.
That's
Because she
fabulous.
knew I wasn't going to judge her because I have more crap than she does.
That's right. That's right. And I love how, like, when we were talking, you said, yeah, I went to this networking thing. And very offhandedly, I don't know if everybody noticed this, but I did. Very offhandedly, you were like, yep, and I got 2 clients. Like, it was no big deal. Like, that's what happens. And that's the kind of confidence that
Yeah,
you have to have going into, talking to people, networking and stuff like that.
I got 2 out of 2.
Yeah,
Can I
right. 100%.
can
You
I
get
can
an
I expound
extra
on that for
star.
one second?
That's an A plus plus in the Asian mom's world.
I followed up with one of them last night, and she was kind of sitting on the fence, kind of iffy.
Uh-huh.
And she says, well, what do you do? How can you help me? I've been going to physical therapy. I've been seeing doctors, and I need surgery, and my knees are blown out, and my hip is blown out, and on and on and on and on. And on. How can you help me? And I let her know, hey, I'm trained in modalities that the doctors and PTs are not trained in. I have a unique, different way of resetting your structural skeletal system, not like chiropractic, but using cranial sacral therapy and moving energy and gently resetting imbalances. Not only do I pinpoint the imbalances, but I see what your body needs and I listen to your body. And I just instinctively work with what your body needs and is telling me. And it's such a gentle approach that we're creating balance in your body and harmony. And she goes, oh. I said, wouldn't it be nice? She's leaving early Wednesday morning to go back east somewhere to visit with one of her kids and grandkids. And so I that night, Saturday night, and then last night, I said, wouldn't it be nice just to be able to go and enjoy your time more, have more quality of time when so that you can enjoy your time because you're not in such debilitating pain.
Mm-hmm.
You can focus and enjoy your time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was the gist of my conversation with her last night. She said, I'm going to call you today. I'm going to call you today. We're going to set up a time.
Cool, cool. And if you guys heard that, so if you didn't catch on, Vickie helps people with chronic pain, and a lot of other things too, but mostly chronic pain. Like after you heard what she's saying, you see why people want to work with her, right? Like she knows exactly what to say, which angle to come from, and it's about the benefit, right? Yes, she asked you how, but it's really about the benefit in the end. Wouldn't it be nice if you could go to some activity, family activity, and actually enjoy yourself and participate? Yeah. I mean, as somebody who has chronic pain issues and stuff, yeah, for sure.
Because we're going to take the pressure off of your nerves so your nerves aren't pinched, and which is going to eliminate pain. And I do it in a way that allows your body to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not me manipulating you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So hopefully you guys can see how you can apply that to your business and yourself as well. Thank you, Vickie. Tame says, need to learn how to contact people, gather people in order to have people to do sales calls with. Okay, so here's the thing. I love this question. It is about growing engagement and community before your sales calls. We're always so focused on, I want to sell this thing or I want to sell that thing because we're looking at the end result. And of course, we need to make money in our business. So that's why we think about it. So it's not anything that's odd, but in the meantime, we forget that everything leads to something. So like in terms of, I'm just going to use a funnel as an example, right? When somebody puts an ad out in Facebook, the purpose at the end is they're going to eventually join your program, right? But the purpose that you want for them on that actual Facebook ad is you want them to click, right? So you have to market to the next step. You put the ad out, the purpose is I want them to click. When they click, they get to the landing page. What's the purpose of the landing page? I want them to enter their email information, right? Once they enter their email information, what's the purpose there? Oh, now I can nurture them. Now I can share more with them. I can send them emails, more value. And I'm always talking about give people results in advance. Give them a little bit of what they might experience with you before they actually do. So they're like, and you've probably heard this before, it's like the whole, oh my gosh, that was free. What could it possibly be like in her paid programs or his paid programs, right? So that nurture sequence is all about gaining their trust, getting them to know, like, and trust factor, right? Getting them to understand that you understand them. And through that sequence, then eventually you're going to offer them give them an invitation to get on a call with you to talk about what it might be like to work together, right? So that invitation, what's the purpose of the invitation? Just to get them on the call, right? What's the purpose of the call? To listen, to understand, to get clear about what they need, because that call isn't always going to end in a sale. It might be, you know what, this isn't a good fit. I wrote the most satisfying email this week to somebody telling her that it was actually not a good fit and I didn't want to work with her. I didn't say it quite like that, but it was the most satisfying email because years ago, I would have bent over backwards and done anything just to make sure that I would get the sale. And I would have said anything to get the sale. And I get that some of us are in that, I just need to get my first client modality and whatever, but it's never worth compromising and being miserable. I'm just telling you, no amount of money is worth being miserable. So anyways, that conversation is to get clear. And to get clear if it is a good fit, if you have programs for them, if you have suggestions for them, or if you want to refer them to somebody else that you know that would be better, right? And if it is a good fit, then you move to the sales part where you're talking about your programs and how that can help them, and then you close the deal, right? We tend to go, okay, what is it that I can put out on social media that's going to get me the sale? So you have to really market to every step along the way. The first step is I just want to attract the right people. I want to start a conversation with them. And then you can see if some of those people seem interested enough, you can say, hey, you know, and move it off to a private conversation. Hey, I didn't want to, you know, it depends where you are too. It might be a group or it might be on your timeline or whatever it is, you know, didn't want to overtake the thread and thought maybe we could move this to private conversation, And, you know, you start that conversation with them. It's not like just go in for the kill, because nobody likes that, right? So the purpose of your post, like 80% of what you are putting out on social media is a engagement type of thing. It's a reach out. So it's like a, hey, if this was helpful for you, comment below. Hey, if this was something that you really enjoyed and you think somebody else would really enjoy or needs to hear it, then right? And those 80% is not always talking about your programs. Like I talk a lot about my programs. My people are pretty used to my talking about the programs, but I had to get them there, right? So a lot of what you're putting out there is, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is how I can inspire you. This is what, you know, I'm going to motivate you with today. It's about sharing you. Does that make sense? And that's where you're going to start growing that community of people that is interested in working with you. I find it a lot harder if I don't have a group. So if you guys don't have a group yet set up, create a Facebook group so that eventually you can say, hey, you know what? I have a free Facebook group where we discuss this all the time and I put in videos and other things. Would you like to be invited to that group? And now you have a whole area of people that you can always go in there and talk about whatever it is that they want to talk about, right? They're all interested in the same thing. I find it hard if I'm going to just be on my business page or my timeline or even on Instagram to keep track of the people who are, and I forget, honestly, I forget. And I'll try to save the post and look at who liked and look at who commented. And at one time I was writing people's names down on paper. Like, don't do that to yourself. Just create a community right away. And if there's 5 people in there, doesn't matter. There's 5 people, and everybody who has 1,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 people in their group at one time only had 5 people. So if you guys have a group and you want some bodies in there, like, I'm not going to promise that I'm going to like interact and engage and all that stuff, but you can put it in our Impact Now group. And if you want to make sure that like when you're inviting people that there's at least a few people in there, the rest of us will join. At least I'm speaking for you all. I'm just going to tell you all, you're all supporting each other. It's like when I tell my kids, you are going to your brother's soccer game because we support each other. Same deal. We're going to support each other. And so you create that group, put that group in the Facebook community, and then we'll go join it so that you'll have some warm bodies in there and you know that you have safe people to talk to. And Teme, if we're the only people and you want your group and you can talk about all your mystic stuff, we're good with that. We love it. We're happy for you. See, and that's the thing, Teme, if you create that group and you just move those people from other places into that Facebook group, you already know that that's a safe place to be you. That they're there for that particular reason, right? And same with everybody else, right? That they're there for that particular reason. I know that the people in my Write My Biz Book Facebook group are there because they're interested in writing books, so I can talk about books all day and they're going to be interested. Not the same on my personal timeline. Although some people are, 82% of the population is interested in a book, so hey, I kind of lucked out on that one. But so you get what I'm saying? So first things first, if you don't have a group, go ahead and do that. Start putting out stuff, just talking about your stuff, your stories, your everyday things. Like, and if you need help with stories, there is a link to Storytelling for Stages and Pages that you guys can get to. Vickie and Novelette were in that when I ran it more live, if that even makes sense. It's not live anymore. Okay, let's see. Teme. Oh, she's talking to you, Vickie, I think. You don't have more stuff than she does. Okay, focus on what I can do for you. Yes. So remember, people aren't interested in you or your stories until there's a point. Every story has to have a point. Everything that you put out there has to have a point. Or else it's just posting to post, and that's not very, not very useful. Okay. And so then you eventually with these people will just start inviting them. Like in my Write Your Biz Book Facebook group, I can just post in there and say, hey, look, I do these book profit assessments. I don't do them all the time. There's 3 spots available. Go pick one. And that's why, again, I love groups and I love having the community. You just need to grow that. Okay. Does that answer your question, Tomei, about how to get people? And then let me unmute you. Does that help?
Yeah, it really does, because I have been holding back on doing the Facebook posts and everything else because I'm trying to get, my audience and all that together. But I love what you shared with me, because I was thinking, geez, how do I start to capture them and get that information? And I guess you're going to be, that'll help to walk me through it, because you're telling me, well, do sales calls. And I'm like, I have nobody. I don't even know how to, So I appreciate that. I do.
Yeah.
It's like a gentler step, and I appreciate you walking me through that area. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, you guys all good then? Thank you for staying on for so long. I hope it was helpful for everybody. Rhonda, do you have a question? The other Rhonda. Unmute. I can't unmute you, Rhonda. Or are you just showing us your... It's not unmuting. You got to unmute yourself, Rhonda. Don't get in an accident. We don't want to watch that.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was just showing my henna.
Oh, just showing
I'm so happy to have
it. We love your henna. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I don't know that that part, is it going to rub off really quickly?
Well, she was saying 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Rubber is going bleach. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It smells like bleach.
It does that.
Yeah, so we're there a couple of weeks.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, so any other questions you guys have, you can post them in the Facebook group and whatever. If you have posts that you're putting out that you want us to help increase engagement, you can share them into the group. Use it for everything and anything that you want. I think pretty much we would all say that we are all here for each other, right? That we all want to see each other succeed and that we're all going to support each other. So whatever you guys need, put it in the Facebook group, and we will talk again in about 2 weeks. Bye, Jacques. Came back on video for a second. Novelette, I can't see you, but all right. See you guys all later. Bye.